Welcome to our Tuesday training, and today I'm going to be going over how to actually use texting and virtual parties to help build your business. Now, there's such a thing as a true text party, and that's not really what we're going to be talking about today. I don't know if you've ever used group texting before, but especially in this type of situation, but as soon as you add a whole group of people together, you're going to have people on that text that don't know who other people are. They're going to have things coming in from phone numbers they're not going to recognize. And some people, when those questions and things start flying back and forth through texting, it gets very confusing, and you just want to shut your phone off after a while. So I don't suggest actually doing a true text party, but I do have a way to incorporate MiCrd in with a texting invitation to create a true virtual party. So what's the benefits of virtual party? And I've shared this before. When I first, the second company that when I was in network marketing was a party program. And at the beginning of that, when I first started with that program, it was fairly easy to get parties. By the time I left, it was increasingly harder to get people together to do a party. And it could be because I've saturated the area, or it could be because I hit the same people year after year. Bottom line, we started to see the parties going to what was called a book party, which means I would give a hostess a group of catalogs, and this was before the internet. So I'd hand out the catalogs, and they would then take those catalogs and hand them out to their friends and say, I'll collect the orders, bring one into work, that type of thing. And it was just getting easier to do those parties. But honestly, we got far fewer orders doing a book party because the people didn't actually get to see the quality of the item. They didn't get to touch it. They didn't see it in a home setting like they did when we did a live party. So I started to see my parties, dropping down, and anything in a party program, it's a lot harder to recruit and keep people because most of the money, a good percentage of the money goes out in hostess gifts. So it just became one of these catch-22s where it was a lot of trying to get parties, and then those parties were getting lower and lower because they were becoming book parties. So I wasn't connecting with people the same way. But anyway, I don't want to waste a whole lot of time on that. But we can basically take that same situation and bring it into people's homes without them having to physically go to a single location. We know how busy people's lives are these days. So I'm going to go through some setup. I'm going to share some tips and techniques. Now, this is kind of like, here's all the tools. I'm going to give you a toolbox, and you can kind of pick and choose which of these tools you really want to use, and then take it from there. If you want, you could use all the tools, or you can say, hey, this tool works for me, this tool works for me. I don't really want to get involved with that type of tool, and so let me just kind of walk you through all the different tools that are available with MiCrd, and then I'm going to help you with some texting tips and things like that. So let's think logically about how a party happens. Okay, so first thing that happens is you meet the hostess, and you set up the party. So it's going to be picking a date. There's going to be some planning on picking a date. So it'd be great if you had your calendar handy. Ta-da! So that's on your MiCrd. So you can very easily, they can go through and they can pick a date where you have an availability. So you can book your parties here. Also shows how busy you are if you've got a bunch of stuff going on, you can see different events going on over here. So plan your parties with the calendar. So once you pick the date, then the next thing is you need to send out invitations. So because we're calling this a virtual party, what we usually suggest is not that the host or hostess give you the information to send out from your phone through a text. The best way to do this is actually have the host or hostess text that information from their phone. Okay, so there's a couple of different ways to do that. You could just basically they can just take the date and time and say, hey, I'm doing a event at my house on this certain date. Don't worry, you don't have to attend. you can connect in via remotely via your mobile phone. Please let me know if you will be there or if you'd like to connect remotely. So they could just send that text message out to their friends. Now, why do we want them to send the message instead of you? If I'm just meeting somebody and I'm setting up a party, the people they're inviting probably don't know who I am. They're not going to recognize my number, so they'll probably totally ignore that invitation. Where if I am setting this up with Mary, all those people know who Mary is. So when the text comes in from Mary, they're going to say, "Oh, cool, Mary's having a party. And so, can I make it that night?" "Oh, okay, yeah, I can make it." Next person's going to say, "No, I can't make it, but you know what? The reason why I can't make it is because I'm just going to be getting home from, from a baseball game or one of the kids' activity or whatever it happens to be." So this way, what they can actually do is they can still attend the party remotely. So make sure that's available on both sides. Now, there's other ways to do the party. If you go from your mobile phone, you can go to what's like the Google Play Store or the iTunes App Store on the Apple, and you can get a cool app on those platforms that allow you to create a custom invitation. So what you can do for Mary is you can download one of those apps on your phone, and there's tons of apps. That's why I'm not going to suggest a specific app, because the app that I like might not be the app that you like. There's tons of free apps that create invitations, and all you really need to do on these either Play Store, any of the Play Stores, go out there, start the app store, and then go out and type invitation maker. So just 2 words, invitation space maker, and then see what pops up. And like I said, there's a ton of free ones. So download a couple, try them out. Use the one that you're most comfortable with. Set up, you always want to set that stuff up for the host or hostess. That's what we used to do, and we would just send them a finished invitation. So I don't have to worry that they got the correct date, they got the correct time, all the wording was the way I wanted the wording to be, and so nothing was missed on the invitation. I always send those to the host or hostess. I let the host or hostess send those out and text those out to their guests. And 90%, 95% of the population right now knows how to use texting. If they're not comfortable with texting, then don't force them to do a text party. Again, this is just for people in I would say more of the millennials, X generation, are going to be real comfortable having this type of event where maybe some people are there, maybe some people are remote, maybe everybody's remote. That's fine. So there's our calendar, and we can actually add events to the card. I'm not really going to go over how to add an event to the card. There's the events. You can add an event. But the only thing is this will only show up on your card. It's not going to show up on somebody else's phone. So while it might be helpful to make it look like you've got a lot of action on your card by adding those events, it's really not going to promote this type of event where it's a remote event. So let me go back to my admins. Okay. So the next tool that I'm going to share, again, these are all different tools. So you can either just text it. Another tool is going to be using the invitation, that pretty kind of done for you invitation by downloading something from the app maker. So you got those 2 tools in your toolbox for the invitation process. So let's talk about now how you're going to actually host that event. So you're going to go to your webinar on demand, and then you're going to click on the webinar wizard, and I'm going to go down to the bottom, and I'm going to add a webinar. This is how I'm going to bring myself into people's living rooms and on their cell phones, things like that. So what's the difference? Why would I do this instead of just texting through my cell phone? Well, number one reason is if we're texting through our cell phone, again, you're going to be blowing up people's cell phones because you're going to be sending out information. People are going to be asking questions. You always have somebody, 1 or 2 people in these events that have 20 questions, and they have to get all of their questions answered regardless. So, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but if you've got somebody playing 20 questions via text message, and you've got 20 people, let's say, in this virtual party, all 20 people are going to be participating in those 20 questions and those 20 responses, again, you're going to be blowing up people's cell phones. So I really don't like to use that. You can still have people sending you questions and things, and it could be, you know, it could be private with MiCrd. So all the questions are coming into one location, but it's private. So everybody's not participating in all the questions, you know, regardless how valid they are. I'm going to say, I'm going to set up an event here, Mary's virtual party, and it could be, you know, whatever the name of the party is. I'm going to make this a live event. I'm not going to make this a public event. Okay, so if I make this a public event, it's going to open up the possibility of other people inviting, other distributors inviting people to this event. I definitely don't want to do this because this is Mary's event. Mary's going to be making commission on this event, and third-party, you know, people don't have to be part of this. We definitely don't want that. We don't want to open this up to all the distributors who may share this with a stranger who now becomes, you know, that person's customer and Mary's bonus, whatever that happens to be, however you set up your bonuses. Then I'm going to actually come through here. So now, because I made this a live event, we connect in with Google Hangout. Okay, so I'm going to go into Google Hangout, and I'm going to create a Hangout on air. So again, Mary. If I could spell. And I'm going to schedule this for whatever date. Let's make it the 21st at 8 p.m. Give everybody a chance to get home. And we'll open this up for 2 hours. You know, again, you'll set it up for wherever you need it to be. And we'll do a share. Okay, so what's going to happen is Google Hangout on air is going to create an event, and we don't need to start the event or do anything with the event right now. But what we do need to do is just grab the link for this event and put it on the card. So I'm going to grab this. You need to grab the YouTube link, and I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to come back to my card, and I'm going to drop that in here. So I just created my event, and we just need to make sure that the date and time here, and we can have this expire. So we can say people can invite through, let's say, Friday, through the 24th. So this party will be open from the 21st to the 24th for people to attend and place orders. And that's at 8 o'clock. And we'll set it up for, we're just going to say it's 2 hours. It's 120 minutes, actually. And then we're going to click load video. Okay, so now this is what we need to do to set up the initial Hangout or the virtual party. So what did I just do? What I did was I created a virtual event where I could be in front of a camera. Okay, like right now I'm in front of my computer. It's being recorded. You're watching what I'm doing. I can record, you know, what's going on my screen. So I could play a video for them. I could do a whole presentation for them in front of this computer. I can hold up, you know, products. I could hold up the product. I could show them the product. I could talk about the product. I could do all those things. You can't do that in a texting party where I'm sending out a group text. I could send a picture of the product, but it's not me talking about the product and showing how I'm happy, everything's great. Wouldn't you love to have this product? And look, you know, there's this complimentary product, so I could do the selfie stick off the bottom. You know, so you could start bringing in, you know, complimentary products. You could sell groupings. You could do all that stuff because you're live in front of the camera. They can see everything that you're doing. Google Hangout is totally free. MiCrd is totally free. So the combination of the two, you've got this totally free platform where somebody could be, they could be anywhere in the world, participate in this party. Now, the only piece that we're missing right now, we're missing two components. The first component is they need a way to ask questions. So what I'm going to do is on my drop down, I'm going to click on the comment box, okay, and I'm going to add that in at 000. So the comment box allows them to now come in and ask me questions. Okay, so while this is running, they could be typing in their questions on their computer, and at any time during the party, they could be asking questions, and I could take a break, and I can if I need to, like somebody might say, the question might come in, do you accept Discover card or MasterCard, Visa, Discover? And so then you could say, oh, I just got a great question from Jen. Jen just asked, do we accept Discover card? And yes, absolutely we do. We accept MasterCard, Visa, Discover, and American Express. So if you want to pay cash, we can work that out with Mary. This is Mary's party. Mary's agreed to accept cash or check, and so you can just pay that directly to Mary. If you want to order online right now, then you can order online right now with any major credit card. So blah blah blah. So a lot of times questions come through that are very are great questions that other people might be thinking, but they're not asking. A lot of questions are really good questions that definitely spark a unasked question in somebody else. But if you're doing something that's straight texting, the last thing you want is 100 text messages coming in back to back to back, different people asking questions, and this all kind of hodgepodging together. The other thing that I want to be able to do is put out an order link. Okay, so we can actually set up 5 events on MiCrd. So the first event we had was our comment box. We always want to have the comment box so they can ask questions. And then the other thing we could do is we can also show like different catalogs. So this one, this catalog is actually set up for Kivana, but we can set this up for product SKUs. We could set up different whatever we need to do set up for catalogs. But so I can basically display a catalog for them, or I can just show a product SKU, and I say the product SKU is X, Y, Z product, and the SKU is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I could do it that way, or I can just show a website link, order now, and it's Mike's order.com. So and again, I can show this at any point. You might, sometimes what I'll do is I'll put this, let's say 2 minutes into the actual presentation. Why do I do that? Because I want to, first of all, make sure everybody who's going to be in the party is there. I want to make sure that I've got whatever time I need for my introduction, because so they're connecting with me. So I'm kind of doing that presentation part of it. So this could actually be, let's say, 5 minutes in. Okay, so I can put this at 5 minutes in, and so I'm doing my introduction. I'm saying thank you to Mary for hosting the party. Anyone else, at the end of this, you'll have a great opportunity to you want to make sure you keep them there for the whole thing. So just a tip, at the end of the party, I'm going to have a very special offer for you with all kinds of prizes attached to it. So you got to make sure you stay for this whole presentation. It's only going to be 30 minutes, whatever time you need. And at the end, I'm going to have a super special offer. So you definitely want to kind of hold off on placing your orders and things until I make this very super duper special offer to you at the end of the video. And so I'm doing this whole introduction, and then around the 3, 4, 5 minute mark, and you could practice this and figure out what you need, all of a sudden the order link pops in. So now while I'm talking about what amazing product this is, and and I can say, and you can go down to the order link right now, click on the order link right now, and start placing your order. Or you stick around till the end and wait for my super duper special offer. But if you have to leave early, I've put that order link out there for you. So that's the reason for the order link. And again, this can show up any point during the presentation. And then once I've set this up the way I want it, we can add more events if we need to. So you can have multiple order links there, whatever you need. You can have those show up at different times. Again, a little bit of practice. I suggest, and I did this when I was in the party plan. You see, here's I just saved it and set up Mary's virtual party. So I would set up the table. I would go through the whole process. When I was doing this for a living, or like my part-time job, because really parties are a part-time job. I would set up the whole table. I would do all the things that I would go through the whole thing, and then I would practice what the party was going to be. So before the season started, I would get all my stuff, set up my table with the drop cloth and all this other stuff, and I would start, even if it was just mentally going through, okay, this is, here's what the groupings might be, here's how the products are going to be sold, and so this way it looked really professional when I was actually doing the live presentation for them. I wasn't searching for words or, hoping somebody asked questions. I was actually putting questions out to the crowd. Hey, have you ever done this with a candle, or blah, 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 whatever it happens to be. So, how many people want to lose weight, or how many people wish they were a couple of pounds lighter, things like that. So you get people raising their hands. So now the next thing is, like, how do I share the invitation link out to the people so that they know where to come to attend. And if you click on this little gear thing, what it does is it actually brings up the link. So here's the actual link to the party that I just created. And so now this is the link that you want to make sure whoever's going to be attending the party, you make sure they register for the party in advance of the party. So you say, here's the link, and you tell Mary, when you do the invitations, make sure people register for it. I'm going to get the registrations for your party, and so I'll let you know who's registered, and so then you could do your follow-ups and so forth. So I'm not going to get Mary in the middle of the registration process or any of that stuff. I want her to send the registration out. I want the responses coming to me so I can gauge. Has Mary actually done this? Do I have anybody who's already committed? How many people are committed? It makes it a lot easier for me to plan the event if I know 20 people are going to be at this event, or 30 people, you can't ultimately do that if you've got people coming in from remote locations where they don't have to travel somewhere. I can have Mary's mother, who's 1,000 miles away, at this party, because she's in a retirement community. She doesn't have to be there for the actual event. All she needs to do is know how to click on the link. And most adults now know how to, regardless of the age, they know how to click on a link and watch a presentation, which is all they really need to do. And if somebody's not comfortable placing the order online, you can say, make sure you get back to Mary if you want to place an order and you're not comfortable online. Let Mary know which products you'd like to order, and we can help you, assist you doing that. You don't have to put the order through tonight, yada yada. So you can collect orders after the fact as well. Like I said, you can do cash and check after the fact. Just working with Mary. So all the credit card transactions are obviously just easier to put the credit card transactions right through the website. So this way, the order site, the replicated sites, handle those orders coming in from you. So this is where she's going to register. She's going to do all that stuff. The day of the presentation, what you're going to do is just send out a reminder to everyone that registered. So again, you're going to make sure Mary does this. You don't want the reminders coming from you. They don't know who you are. You're going to be like, who's this person asking me if I'm going to the party? You want to just make sure you touch base with Mary the day before and say, hey, don't forget about coming to this party. My party on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Today's Monday. Don't forget tomorrow 8 p.m. I'm having this party. Don't miss it. And you can even 20 minutes, 20 minutes before the event, just say, hey, Mary, you might want to send out just another quick invitation. And again, that's where the group texting thing kind of comes in play. If you really want to group text, what you can do is you can just kind of group text everyone. Hey, this is just a reminder. Please don't respond to it, because it's going to go to everyone. But the party's in 20 minutes. Just want to make sure everyone who's still able to attend can come to the event. If you're not able to attend, that's okay. You can watch it anytime between now and Friday. You can watch the party, and please, let me know, whatever items you want to order from the party. So that's another piece with this MiCrd webinar is after that party, whatever that you're presenting during that party, it gets recorded, it gets saved on as a video, and then everyone who didn't make it to the party that night, she can still follow up with those people and say, hey, I know you weren't able to make it to the party last night. Here, you can still click on the link and you can still watch the video and you can still order products. This party's going to be open until Friday. So you could do all those things that it would be next to impossible to do if you were a live party. They wouldn't get to participate in the actual party. All they would get would be a booklet, a catalog. So they wouldn't see the groupings. They wouldn't see how these products interact with each other. They wouldn't really get to participate in testimonials and things like that. Where if it's a live event and you're recording it like a video, they get to participate in all these things. So that's pretty much what I have for today. I suggest always suggest set one of these things up. Make believe like you've got a Mary. Do the party, see how it records, go through it. Even if you have to do it 1, 2, 3 times, all this stuff is free, so it doesn't cost you anything to set these up and practice. Practice. So when you actually do a virtual event, it all plays out, and they're like, wow, this thing is great. This is amazing. You look like a professional because you've taken the time to really practice it and make the tools work for you. So that's it. Have a great night and watch it you can watch this as many times as you want. I'm going to actually have this training up for at least a month. So if you need to come back and watch the training and all that, go ahead and do that.